From the Chatterbox Sports Studio in Hamilton, Ohio, this is Not Too Picky with Paul Fritchner.
Back on the air today. Great to be with all of you. Today is Thursday, October 20th. Paul Fritchner, Casey McAllister, Reed Mouse. We will have Russ Heltman on the show today. He'll be our guest. Mike Schmaltz is always on our Thursday show, just those rapid-fire picks. I think I get more texts about Mike's segment on the show than maybe any other things that we do because Mike pops in, usually from work, gives us about 30 picks for the weekend, and then pops right back out about 5 minutes later. And, so we got a great Thursday show, but I got to start with an opening statement. Many people are saying, not me, but many people are saying that I missed Monday's show because of the weekend that I had. I did not publish a winner over the weekend on our graphic. I would just like all of you to know that I plan to be better. I plan to bring more winners to the table than what I brought last weekend. Now, a lower man would make excuses. A lower man would point out that I did not have access to Photoshop on Saturday because I was up in South Bend at Notre Dame enjoying, or what I thought was going to be, enjoying a Notre Dame game. And a man like that would make an excuse and say that because I didn't have Photoshop, I couldn't add to the graphic the two games that ended up being winners in Syracuse and Ohio, the Ohio University Bobcats. Somebody else would make that excuse. I would never make that excuse. I would own up and take responsibility to the fact that I did not put a winner on the graphic. Somebody that did put a winner on the graphic was Mike, but also Reed Mouse, who went 3-1 on Saturday. I just want to make sure that I get out ahead of that for all of you listening or all of you watching right now, that I plan to be better. I plan to put as much as I can into the rest of this college football and NFL season. And we got college basketball 18 days away too. And if you don't love me at my NFL, then you don't deserve me at my college basketball.
To be fair, Paul,
yes.
I also had a miserable weekend last week. And I think that just goes to show that if I struggled and I'm doing really well in the NFL, you know, it was just a tough week.
It was.
It was just going to be a tough week in general.
It was really tough for people not making money. I can't relate to that. But, good for you, Paul, because you are getting out in front of it. You're not making excuses. You're not alluding to the fact that you did make other bets or supposedly made other bets. You're not alluding to that at all. You're owning up for your losses and not alluding to anything else. It's a big man.
Well, I'm going to sit up here. If it's my show, I'm going to make sure that we're going to take control of things. We're going to take responsibility, and I'm not going to shy away from things. If you're watching in the chat right now, we got some viewers checking in with us. Make sure to add your winners into the chat, and we need to restart. It was a tough weekend. Look, I will be completely honest. It was a tough weekend up at Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost. Didn't really get to see much of the Tennessee-Alabama game. It was popping in and out of tailgates here and there. It didn't have a lot of phone signals, so trying to figure out what was going on in those games was tough. All over the place. It was a tough Saturday. I'll be honest, because even the bets that I won, and this is where it boils down to it, even the bets that won, I probably would have ended up at zero anyway because the live money line for Notre Dame was just too appealing. So things probably would have been devoid of any profit on Saturday anyway. But we're going to move beyond that. Yes, the Alabama -7 did not hit for the chat, so our streak of 6 picks in a row for the chat, all that means is it needs to restart today. So if you're watching this show today, make sure that you're throwing some winners in the chat. All right, let's get into today's show and some of the picks for today's show now that we've got last week's business out of the way. Yes, there was no show on Monday. Just had to make sure I was feeling okay. As you can tell, we're a little stuffed up. We're a little nasally, so wanted to make sure everything was checked out and wasn't making anybody else any more sick on Monday, and we're good to go. All right, Bengals and FC we will talk more about with Russ in just a minute. Russ will be on the show in about 5 minutes. I do want to touch on FC Cincinnati real quick to get you primed for that one. FC Cincinnati started the week, I think they were at plus 450 on what I would have been on Monday's show on the graphic. They are now down to plus 290 on the three-way money line, playing at the Philadelphia Union tonight. That game is at 8 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Philadelphia is a wagon at home. They did not lose at home this season. But FC Cincinnati is the only Eastern Conference team that Philadelphia has not beaten yet this year. In fact, FC Cincinnati has 4 points against Philadelphia this year. They have a win and a draw. Eastern Conference semis. FCC is right there on the doorstep. FC was the underdog in their first playoff matchup. They came out on Saturday. It was a little dicey at points. 12 minutes of stoppage time. Casey, I know your heart was probably racing.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
12 minutes of stoppage time for FCC, but they got through it. 1 goal margin for FCC to advance now to the Eastern Conference semis. That's tonight. Again, plus 290. What I hate about this, and Reed, you and I were talking about this a minute ago. It's tough that this is in Philadelphia because everything right now, I know the Padres won last night, but everything right now is looking up for Philadelphia. You look at the Phillies, you look at the way the Eagles are playing. Now the Union, I'll be honest, I don't know how the Flyers have started their season, and the Sixers just started too. But Sixers lost to the Celtics on opening night. But between the Phillies and the Eagles, it is a great time to be a Philly sports fan.
Lot of brotherly love flowing around
Yeah.
the city. So much that I think it could even mend that bell. No more cracking the bell. Mend that bell.
Restore the bell.
Right.
FCC plus 290 tonight. Casey, give me your 15-second rundown here.
Both teams, I think, are pretty. They actually compare very well to each other. They have 3 really good scores. We have 3 really good scores. It's going to probably be back and forth. The only difference is Philadelphia has a better defense. So
Okay.
it's going to be tough. We got to go in guns a-blazing. You can't start off slow. You got to go
15
hot.
seconds are up.
All right.
That's it.
All right. You sold me. All right.
Got to cross half court.
Look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And FCC, they've been a wagon so far on the three-way money line. So why not stop? Or why stop now, I guess is a better way to put it. Bearcats minus 3.5 at SMU this weekend. Over under 58.5. SMU does not defend the run very well at all. They're 123rd in the country in that area. UC, middle of the pack in their rushing offense. They're kind of right there, 60th in the country on the ground. Bearcats at minus 3.5. I like it around a field goal. I think the Bearcats are what?
I'm gonna get into that later.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I've got a pick on that game.
Okay. Then I won't. All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's not.
Then I won't waste everything else on
double
this.
in trouble.
Okay. Then I'll leave all the rest of that for later. Miami Oxford. Love this pick.
Love and honor.
So sometimes when I do the way this show starts out, we want to talk all about Cincinnati, break down all the local games, get into everything that's happening around the city, and then in the third segment of this show with Reed, we'll do more of our national picks, some of the things that we're looking at around the country, maybe some of our other winners. I love Miami Oxford at minus 6.5 this weekend against Western Michigan. Over-unders 44.5. Western has lost their last 2 games. If you've watched Miami at all this year, you know that their defense has been way better than their offense has been. I think this is a good spot for Miami at home to get back to 500. WMU's they're a little feisty, but I like where Miami's at this weekend at under a touchdown. Only note I had about Ohio State and Iowa is the spread compared to the total in this game. The spread, is, depending on where you get it, it's right around 30 right now. It's 29.5, 30, 30.5, depending on where you get it. The over-under, though, is 49.5. So Ohio State is favored by 30 points, and the total is just 49.5. Iowa is typical Big Ten, typical Iowa, but I'm not betting against Ohio State the rest of this season.
So Vegas doesn't see Iowa scoring twice.
No. Well,
right around there, right?
Right around twice. Does Iowa score twice?
Do they score twice in most of their games?
Do they score a touchdown? Does Iowa score a legitimate question? Does Iowa score a touchdown in this game?
It seems like a field goal day for them. I mean, their kicker's already warmed up.
I mean, they could get 9 points, but toss 3 field goals on the board.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll get a fourth quarter.
I'm not going to bet this game. I'm not going to bet this game.
It.
I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole.
15.
Yeah.
All right.
Point made.
Notre Dame minus 27 against UNLV. Over under 47.5. Look, Notre Dame was 16.5, 17-point favorites. And they just completely gave that game away. That had to be one of the most miserable football. It was cold. It wasn't that cold, but it was on the chillier side.
You were losing money?
I was losing money. I was losing spirit. I was dejected. I was a downtrodden, beaten down, slightly hungover man.
Hungover? So you had already gone past, like you were already
There's
hungover.
no alcohol in Notre Dame Stadium.
Right.
So you had to sort of pace yourself through the day. So by the time you get into the stadium, and it was like the third quarter, and you're cold.
You seem like a rule breaker. Seem like you might have been. You seem like a guy who sneaks in some plastic bottles of some Wild Turkey 101.
Ooh, I like Wild Turkey.
That'll keep you warm. That'll keep. See that's where it's a double. You keep the buzz going.
A Jack and Tito's shooter.
Right. You keep yourself warm, and you keep the buzz going. I mean, you're new, first time ever going to Notre Dame Stadium.
Yes. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
You wouldn't be the only Catholic sneaking booze in there.
Oh. There. All right.
There's priests actually just bring ceremonial wine down there.
What were you going to say, Casey?
I was going to say, or you're one of those guys that gets like those $2 like little fireball shots and you just stuff them in your pockets and just.
Or
Casey's picking up what we're putting down. Yeah. Casey's with it.
Again, I would never do something like that.
Oh, you're a rule follower.
Because at the top of the sign, when you walk into Notre Dame Stadium, the very first thing on the list of prohibited items before anything else is alcohol. Somebody also may say that if you were going to do that, you could just throw those in your hood and they would just
walk right up there. As long as they're plastic, because there's a metal detector. You got to be plastic.
Somebody,
or glass.
Somebody who doesn't care about the rules, some heathens,
right,
would walk through the gates with those little plastic bottles of Jack and Tito's in your hood. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you wanted to do that, I'm pretty sure it probably wouldn't be that hard to do.
Can we address something that happened in the Off the Bench show today? A comment.
Okay.
AJ Worse.
Yeah.
A frequenter.
Very frequent.
He claims that your first ever beer was on your 21st birthday. Is that true?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. It was on my 22nd birthday.
I was going to say, was it the day after? Did you have a beer before you turned 21?
Do I come across like a rule breaker?
I just want an honest answer.
I just want an honest question.
That's as honest as I can be. Not a very honest man, but that was an honest question. That's AJ Worse.
He was all over. I'm
giving you a chance, a platform to
AJ Worse in the YouTube chat earlier today was very concerned about my social life prior to my 21st birthday. He was very concerned that I had He thought that I had never had a drop of alcohol before my 21st birthday.
Leif Erikson was going to say that you probably had some mead.
Leif Erikson. Oh, look, we got our chat is lively today.
Yeah.
Lively chat today. I love it. Okay. We have a guest on. Is Russ in the chat?
Russ is here. He's ready.
Before we get to Russ, I'm just going to remind everybody that if you are watching this chat, if you're following along, want to thank everybody for watching. You can subscribe to Not Too Picky on TikTok. We're all over TikTok now. We are on every podcast platform where you can find your podcasts. We're on Twitter. I made a Facebook page. And if you are the lucky winner of a free T-shirt, those will also be coming out here in probably the next week or so. Russ, can you hear me? Can Russ hear me? Russ,
yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
I got you, Russ. How you doing, my man?
Great, Paul. Great to be on the show. Glad to be first-time guest.
Russ, so let's start before we really get into everything. Where can people find you? What kind of give the people a little intro into Russ Heltman?
So I cover the Bearcats for SI's Fan Nation. You find us at allbearcats.com. You can catch me on Twitter at Russ Heltman 11. Then I also do a little Bengals Bets weekly article that I post on All Bengals as well. James Rapine and I kind of partnering on All Bearcats and All Bengals. And Bengal Bets going well so far. 12-6 on the season. We do about 3 picks a week. And so you can catch that tomorrow morning. Usually drop that about 8:30, 9 a.m. on Fridays. And then, we're just doing Bearcats coverage. Last year, I covered the Bearcats kind of once the basketball season started going. That's when we launched the site. I worked for FCC throughout the entire regular season last year. Missed the winning boat, missed the winning on-ramp into the successful FCC campaign as I kind of went more towards the Bearcats coverage in 2022 and did not stick with the franchise this currently ongoing season with the playoff game tonight. And then my regular kind of full-time day job, I'm a morning host at WMKV in Springdale, Ohio. You can catch us on 89.3 and 89.9 in the tri-state area, and then streaming online at wmkvfm.org.
Love it. All right, so Bengal Bets is where I found you. I'm a loyal to that portion, so that's why I have you on here today. But before we get into the Bengals, the story right on hand today: FCC playing in the postseason. They're in the Eastern Conference semis tonight, taking on Philadelphia, the only Eastern Conference team that Philadelphia has not beaten so far this season. Russ, let's get your primer on FCC tonight, some of your thoughts and what you're thinking about with FCC and Philly.
Well, I think it's going to be a very daunting task for the FCC crew to get the job done tonight in regular time. I think there's really, really intriguing value on the draw number at plus 255. That's where I'm seeing it on DraftKings Sportsbook right now.
Yep.
I think this is another scenario where I think Pat Noonan knows exactly what this Philadelphia Union team loves to do. As you already mentioned, Paul, they're the only Eastern Conference team without a loss to Philadelphia this year. And it's a Philadelphia team that's got the best goal differential in the MLS, a historic defense, a really great offense going up against another really great offense in FCC, third in goals scored so far this season. I could see a 2-2, 3-3, really high-level, massive fireworks type of match that goes to extra time. I don't know if I have the confidence to pick FC in full time to get it done in the 90 minutes. But if you're an FCC supporter and you want to support the fellas, I think that draw line is the value spot to go with.
How much was your heart racing last Saturday when you saw the 12 minutes of added time go up right at the end of the 90 minutes? Because I was following along on my phone. I was up in South Bend, and I was following along on my phone. And as I kept refreshing the score app, I kept seeing the minutes go up and up and up. And I had to go to Twitter to make sure that the app wasn't glitching. And I was like, I had never even seen double digits to the point where I saw 12. I thought for sure the score was just glitching out. No, it wasn't. Take me through last Saturday.
That was harrowing, to say the least. I'm with you. I was about to ask before you even said that. Like, have you ever even seen 12 minutes, let alone 10 minutes of extra time in a soccer match? And honestly, we all should have had seen that before. I read a 538 article a couple years ago where they said it is criminal how lacking the amount of true extra time there actually is compared to the actual amount of extra time they put on. It's always less that they actually put on compared to how much time they actually let waste in the middle of the 90 minutes. So it was a lot closer than any normal extra time would usually be, I would guess, if they gave 12 minutes there. But the defense held firm and just barely did enough to hang on throughout the 90-plus minutes there. And what a 90-plus minute performance it was. And how about Sergio Santos? Just kind of stamping the true affirmation that Jeff Birding got to tip the cap. I've given him a lot of criticism over the last couple of years that he made the right call, bringing in the Philadelphia contingent. Chris Albright brings in Sergio Santos at the right around the transfer deadline, and he doesn't really do anything for the most part all regular season. Comes in as a super sub in the 70th minute and feeds Brandon Vasquez the clinching goal to beat the New York Red Bull. It was like a storybook moment to have Santos come in and make that play. Yeah,
no doubt. I think if you look at last week and how that played out, and then if you look at kind of this week and you look at tonight's match and how historical it could be for FCC after the season that they had last year, do you think that actually, before I ask you that, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think the biggest key has been, Russ, this year to this massive turnaround from the team that was consistently at the bottom to now this?
It's all coaching. It's all scheme to me. And I would say an unsung hero of the whole thing has been Roman Celentano. I think him being the entrenched number one pick coming out of this college draft this year, you give him the keys right away. You tell him and you're confident in him that he can be your number one goal stopper, your number one keeper, and just give you some kind of consistency back there. They had no kind of consistency for the past 2-3 seasons in goal, and that's just going to be a death knell in any sport hockey, soccer that requires goals to be scored. If you're not good in front of the net, then you're going to have a really hard time keeping pace with the rest of the league. And then Luciano Acosta. He is the fulcrum for me for this entire franchise. How this guy has weathered through the past couple years being on the worst professional sports team in North America last season to turning it all the way around, being a leading assist totaler in the MLS this season, being an MLS All-Star for the first time in his career. He's really bought into what Pat Noonan is trying to preach to this team, what Pat Noonan wants to do. And with Luciano Acosta bought in, this entire offense has exploded, like I said, to the third highest goal mark in MLS and 2 of the top 5 leading goal scorers in Brandon Vasquez and Brenner, who has really lived up to that great bag drop they did on Brenner last offseason. He struggled in the beginning of his career with FC, but as I mentioned, you get him in a better system, a more American MLS-style system that Pat Noonan brought to this franchise, and he really starts to explode. It's impressive.
So it kind of sounds to me like Acosta is the Joey Votto of FCC. Sticks with it, but then eventually got to kind of
hopefully Joey can get the same kind of swan song on that Lucho quote unquote gets. We know Lucho is not in the in the nadir of his career, not in the end of his career here, but you know what I mean.
Okay, so last thing on FCC before we go to the Bengals real quick. You think they get it done? Do you think FCC is still standing after tonight?
I don't think they will be. Truthfully, I don't think they will be. I truly hope they will be, but I can't pick against Philadelphia. I can't pick against the big brother just yet. First time in the playoffs going against this franchise that you're basically modeling yourself after. It would be really impressive to get the job done on the road, but I think it will be close. I don't expect them to get blown out 3-0 or anything like that, but I don't think they get it done. No.
All right, let's move on to the Bengals at home this weekend against the Falcons. It's been forever. It's been since week 1 since the Bengals had a 1 o'clock Sunday game against anybody at Paycor. But the Bengals are back home this week. They're about a touchdown favorite. It's kind of been around that point this week. You don't have to spoil anything that's going to be in your Bengals bets article if you don't want. But let's get your thoughts on the Bengals from a betting angle.
Well, so far this season, it's been up and down for Cincinnati. Obviously, the unders have been the big play for the Bengals in 2021 or in 2022. I think every single under has hit this year except for last week, I'm pretty sure.
Last week was the first over. Yep.
Yeah, that was the first time they went over all year. And I think over going to start being in this team's vicinity for the rest. And you look at what they did on offense last week, 52 out of 54 snaps from shotgun. Joe Burrow putting that entire offensive game plan on his mind pre-snap and post-snap with those RPO options. I see this Bengals offense really starting to hit its stride over the next couple weeks going into the bye. You're talking about a team in Atlanta that's bottom 8 in overall defensive DVOA, a team in Cleveland next week who is 31st in rushing EPA per play allowed and 32nd in passing EPA per play allowed. So, yeah, they are the worst defense efficiency-wise in the NFL. And then you're going into, I think, is the bye after that, or is it Carolina? Either way, if you get to face Carolina and go into the bye, then you're looking really good in terms of another defensive opportunity for Joe Burrow to exploit, or coming off the bye, going up against the Carolina Panthers team that's been pretty bad on defense throughout the year. So I think betting-wise, the offense should start to pick things up, and I think the under trends for the Bengals are going to start getting more towards 500 either way when you look at over and unders for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Russ. I was the same way. I was looking at the totals and the reaction sort of on the gambling lines to the totals and the way the Bengals have been trending this year. And you feel like the Bengals eventually, offensively, things might start to even out, get back closer toward the overs that Vegas is adjusting those numbers to. I have not looked too much into the total yet this week. I think the number is a little high. We had James Rapine on off the bench earlier today, and James was talking about how his opinion was that the Bengals would win but not cover this week at around a touchdown. I tend to agree. I think the Falcons are feisty enough. The Falcons are the only team in the NFL that has covered every game so far this season, and I think they can be one of 3 in the last. I'm gonna botch the stat, but it's something around like 3 teams in the last 30 years that have started the season 7-0 against the spread. The Falcons have a chance to do that.
I have it right here. Yeah.
Go ahead.
4 teams. Last year's Dallas Cowboys team started 7-0. 2018 Kansas City, obviously they started 7-0 with Patrick Mahomes, freight train coming through the NFL there. 2008 Tennessee, I think that was the Kerry Collins Tennessee Titans team right there in 2008. And then obviously the buzzsaw of all NFL historical offensive buzzsaws, the 2007 New England Patriots started off 7-0. So it's funny because
until they ran
this
into Eli
Falcons
Manning.
team, right.
Yeah.
This Falcons team, Paul, is, I would say, nowhere near as talented as any of those previous teams to start 7-0 in the last 40 years.
Yeah, you look at the way the Falcons have been playing this year and you think, okay, well, it's not like they're winning and blowing everybody out. They're just sort of getting the job done enough to cover as much as they can throughout the year. All right, Russ, this is the point in the show where I ask you for your winner, our guest winner, and it can be something that we've already talked about or it can be something in the college run. It can be whatever you want. I ask for a winner. You have to start the streak, though, because our last guest that we had on last week did not give us a winner. So the streak is 0. The streak could be 1, given whatever you give us. What do you got for us?
I'm going with tonight's kind of poo-poo platter Thursday night football game. I'm going to give the people a reason to watch tonight. Kyler Murray under 245.5 passing yards. I really like this number. I see this more as a 220 to 235 passing yards type game for the Arizona Cardinals. When you look at the way the New Orleans Saints play defense, they do not rush the passer with extra blitzers very often this season. They blitz at the 4th lowest rate in the NFL this year. His yards per attempt on those plays is 6.1 against the blitz and just 5.7 yards per attempt when defenses do not blitz. So when you think about the Saints defense not blitzing at a high rate, you like that aspect right there. He's starting to lean into his running game a little bit more. And I think that's what this Cardinals offense has to do to get out of the just terrible kind of static issues they've had throughout the first 6 weeks of the season. You've got to lean into more misdirection. You got to lean into the athleticism of Kyler Murray. And I think they start to continue doing that as they have in the past couple of weeks. Rush for 42 yards in week 5, rush for 100 yards last week. I see more rushing yards from Kyler Murray in that sense tonight. And then when you think about the Cardinals being a 2.5-point favorite in this game, I don't see the Saints pushing them to a 14-0, 21-0 early first quarter deficit like the Cardinals have faced all season long. I think it's amazing, Paul. On 18 drives in the opening 3 drives of a game this season, 6 games in, the Cardinals have posted 10 points on those 18 drives, just 10 points. At some point, I think they're going to start to play a little bit better, get off to a faster start. You get DeAndre Hopkins back this week. We all know how much better Kyler Murray is with DeAndre Hopkins, plus 15-point quarterback rating improvement in his career when Hopkins returns to the field. And you get Robbie Anderson, a little bit added size out there for one of the smallest and I would say least intimidating receiving cores in the NFL through the first 6 weeks of the season. All in all, I just think Kyler Murray, they keep the ball in front of them. The New Orleans Saints do. They don't blitz him very much. They make him beat them with his legs. And just flat out, Kyler Murray has not been efficient throwing the football this season. 5.8 yards per attempt and a league low 3.9 air yards per completion. A lot of underlying metrics lead me to believe that under 245.5 is a good number to get that Kyler Murray under at.
I'm going to say one thing, Russ. You convinced me. You sold me. Whether this is a winner or a loser, you sold me that this was a winner and this was the right pick. Reed Mouse over here. Reed, you've been smiling this whole time. I think you like this pick?
Ooh, I just like the fact that we talk about this often. People look at prop lines, and they only think if it's a yes. They never think if it's a no. If they don't like a prop line, they just go, oh, I'm not going to bet it. He's taking the under on a prop line, which is people don't do a whole lot. No. People don't do a whole lot. And I like it. I like it.
We're not too picky.
Not too picky.
Not too picky. Yeah, it is funny. Reed and I the other day before the show, we were saying, you see a line like this and you just think to yourself,
he's not going to get the over.
You just want to, you're not going to get the over or whatever. You just don't bet it because it's like, you're going to bet it. Yeah, go ahead.
One more. We don't have to count this. I'm not going to count this as a pick, and we won't count it as a win if it does hit here. But Jawan Johnson, tight end for the Saints, plus 480, anytime touchdown in this game. You got Michael Thomas ruled out. You got Jarvis Landry ruled out. Starting tight end Adam Troutman also ruled out. It's a guy who hasn't scored a touchdown this year, I know, but the Cardinals are dead last in the league in yards allowed to tight ends and catches allowed to tight ends, giving up 3 tight end scores so far this year. 5-1 right there. That's a decent little juice on a prop. Obviously, it's not going to hit all the time. You're not expected to hit that, but if people want to take a look at that one, that's another one that really intrigued me in terms of player props.
Let me be very clear, Russ. If that hits, that was absolutely a winner and something that you gave us that is on the record and something. If it doesn't hit, we just cut it out. It never happened. You didn't suggest it. It's fine. So don't worry about it.
There you go.
It's great. It's perfect. Russ, we're going to have you back on way more frequently than we have already, which was 0 times. You're going to be on as much as you want to be on. That was a fantastic segment. I appreciate you taking the time. And, with this being a Cincinnati show, let's especially with college basketball coming right around the corner, let's be in touch. I love this. This is great.
Of course, Paul. I had a lot of fun, man. Good time being on for the first time. Would love to do it again. Make it a regular thing. It was fun.
Great. Appreciate it. And one more time, where can people find you on social media or around?
At Russ Heltman 11. You can find me on Twitter. Follow All Bearcats on Twitter. Just look up All Bearcats in the search bar. It's pretty easy to find us.
Great. Thanks, Russ. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You too, Paul. Have a good one, guys.
See ya. Let me tell you what. He brought the facts.
Ain't
no BSing around with Russ Heltman. We knew what we were getting, and we got it. You go out there and you get the elite. And we got one. Let me tell you what. You go from one guy who's going to fire off picks to another guy who's going to fire off picks. It's this guy right here. It's Mike Schmaltz. Mike,
how are you?
So Mike, we have Reed. Reed is over here. Reed's over in the producing chair today with
Schmaltzy,
Casey.
Steve Carell.
Yep. Gotcha. Steve, yeah. 40-year-old virgin, 54-year-old virgin, however you want to do it. I don't have enough chest hair to wax, though. That's the problem.
What's with you in
But
colors?
That does happen.
Purple last show,
Well,
bright orange. It matches your personality, which I appreciate.
It's autumnal, right? Leaves are changing. You got to blend in.
Why do you want to blend in? Don't you want to stand out?
Well, you do. You want to stand out with the information, but if the information comes out of the subtle background, then it's that more impactful, I think.
Did you get a haircut? It looks good.
I did.
Yeah,
I had to style
I noticed.
that sucker out. We had some big-time lettuce working in the back. So here's my problem. It grows more on the side and in the front now at my age than it does on the top. Yeah. So I was trying to let it grow, and it just didn't really work out all that well.
Oh.
Schmaltzy, how long have you been working with Paul?
Paul Fritcher style. Paul, what was it? 6 years? 7 years?
What? Uh-oh. Hold on. You there? There we go. You got me? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Are we losing Mike?
How many years, Paul? 6, 7?
That we've been working together? Wait, uh-oh. He's catching up.
Yeah.
There he is.
He's lagging.
He's lagging a little bit.
It's back. We got a lag.
We got you.
We're good.
All right, beautiful.
We've been working together since April of 2016.
I've known Schmaltzy for about a month now, and only via this show, and I noticed his haircut right away. Paul didn't even mention it. Remember that when you guys are in a nice relationship. I barely know you. I'm just flattering you.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking note. I didn't do it for those reasons. I'm trying to be more like Paul. You got to up on the sides, a little high and tight. That never hurt anybody.
Aspirations.
Oh, Reed's wife was the one that gave me Reed's wife gave me the last haircut that I got, and I'm still working with that like a month later. So we're all looking good over here.
Maybe I need to sign up for that program.
Come up here to Hamilton.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's part of the deal.
Yeah. Sure.
I like it.
All right, Mike. This is the portion of the show where I turn the keys over to you, and you just rifle off all these picks through the rest of the weekend.
I've got some stuff, and you know what? I'm here at my other job, and I'm probably going to get fired because I spend way too much time on this.
I've got
something from. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I want you to know that I get more texts about your segment of you just popping into the show, just shooting through a litany of picks and then popping right back out.
Like an explosion of confetti.
Yeah.
But it's money confetti, hopefully. Some of these work, some of these don't. All right, let's go to tonight. You ready?
I think you got something going on with your microphone, with your zipper, maybe.
The zipper?
I don't know.
Is that better? Is that better?
No,
Can you hear it?
Maybe it was. It sounds like it's ruffling up again.
Let's try that. Can you hear that? Is that better?
It's a little bit.
This is big time stuff here. Oh, is that better?
We're gonna figure this out live on the air. Move the cord around a little bit.
It wouldn't be a show without us messing with microphones.
Hold on.
This cord? Is that working? Is that better?
I hear you. I
Nobody else can hear me?
No,
I'm right on top of it now.
No, I hear you fine. It just sounds like you're crackling, like you're doing the Lay's chips, like you're dropping the phone call on purpose with me.
Oh. I'll try to be a little bit more subtle in my movement. How about that? Less dramatic.
All right, you're good. All right, just go ahead.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it or not?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
All right, here we go. We're doing Saints Cardinals tonight, so DeAndre Hopkins is back, right? Plus 130, 75 or more reception yards.
Wait.
Not working?
Hold on, Mike. I'm going to stop you here. We got to figure this out before. I don't want all these winners to get thrown away. How do we?
Let's do.
I think it's a connection issue.
Do you think it's a connection? Well, it was working. Are you using the
So we
same
got it
connection
on
from last week?
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
It's
I'm
the,
using all of this in the podcast.
This is all
It's
live.
Verizon.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Unplug his earbuds.
I think
Unplug the earbuds, maybe.
Unplug the buds. All right, well, then I can't hear you.
No.
Is that any better?
No, I didn't mean that.
All right, I can't hear you, so I don't know if it's any better. Is it better?
No, it wasn't any better, unfortunately.
It wasn't?
No. I'm saying unplug
All right, let's
the mic.
try. Let's just try this. Now, is that any better?
No. Oh, I think it's a connection issue.
Now I got to turn the volume up.
What is going on in this show?
Can you hear that?
I can hear you. I think it's a connection issue because I think. Are you guys hearing it too? Is it not just my?
No, it's a connection issue.
Okay. All right.
So we got a bad connection. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, plug the microphone back in and let's just go from it like that.
How about he goes out and comes back in and
take a break.
We'll take a
Hey,
quick
Mike,
break.
we'll take a commercial and we'll come back. All right, we'll take a 90 and come back.
At United Dairy Farmers, we've perfected freshness in our family bakery, where we use only the finest ingredients, like thick, high-quality glazes on our signature donuts, before delivering them fresh from bakery to store every day. UDF, made for you.
If your AC or furnace is struggling, turn to the experts at Bartell's Heating and Cooling. Their certified technicians get the job done right the first time, and if you need a new unit, Bartell's will give you upfront pricing with no hidden fees. Plus, ask about Bartell's 0% interest financing for 60 months. Learn more at bartellsheatingandcooling.com. Bartell's Heating and Cooling, for a comfortable way of life. Eli's Sports Bar and Grill, proudly sponsoring high school football with 3 locations in Mason, Liberty Township, and Ross, Ohio. Our 10-foot screens guarantee a great view from every seat in the house. Eli's Sports Bar and Grill, the best place in Cincinnati for sports, food, and fun.
Where can you turn when you're in pain? Turn where more high school, college, and pro athletes turn. Where your neighbors and weekend warriors turn. Turn to Beacon Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and get superior care on your schedule. That's the Beacon difference.
Check out our fresh arrivals at Jake Swinney Used Cars. Over 250 used vehicles weekly. All makes, all models. From economy to luxury, Jake Swinney, the original used car superstore.
All right, we're back on Not Too Picky. I thought for sure we were going to be able to figure that out. Now we're scrambling to put his the sound got figured out. Now we're going to figure out if Mike can't hear me here with the headphones getting plugged back in. Apologies for the technical issues. Mike, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Is that better?
Oh, that's perfect. That's
much
perfect.
better?
Yeah. No,
oh,
that's
wonderful.
This is the best you've
Well,
sounded
good.
on the show yet. Okay, let's get
Well,
to
this
your
is
picks.
this is your microphone, by the way. This is a Paul Fritzner recommended piece of
It is.
equipment.
I love
so that's
it.
why
I
it
use
works.
it. I
That's
use it
why
for
it works so
everything.
well.
Yeah.
That's why it works so well. See what we're saying?
It's great. hopefully have some winners.
All right, can we get back to the business of trying to make some money for some people? This
Take us
frivolous electronic stuff.
Take us
All right,
through.
you ready?
Yep.
We're going Saints Cardinals tonight, all right? So DeAndre Hopkins is back. We got plus 130, 75 or more receiving yards. Now, I don't know if he's going to play the whole game. NFL Network said he was today. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. But let's face it here. the Saints lost Jamar Chase last week for 60 yards. I think DeAndre Hopkins might get lost as well. Right?
Okay.
All right. Then this is an interesting.
How many yards was that? I'm going to try and keep track.
75 or more receiving yards, 75 plus.
Got it.
And that's plus 130. So that could happen, right?
Okay.
Now here's another one. A.J. Green, minus 125. His longest reception is under 14.5 yards. A.J. Green, his long reception of the season is 10 right now.
Okay.
So we've already got DeAndre Hopkins back. They just picked up Robbie Anderson. You got Dortch. You got Ertz. You got Moore. You got even Eno Benjamin out of the backfield. I think that's probably a good one there.
Okay.
So minus 125 for A.J. Green. Not getting anything over 14.5 yards. And then Alvin Kamara, 61.5 rushing yards. That's minus 125.
61.
How do you feel about those?
61.5?
61.5. Minus 125, yep. Cardinals are 7th against the rush or 23rd against the pass. Bad.
Not good.
For the Cardinals. Okay?
Okay.
You got any opinions on those, Paul? You got opinions there?
No, it's funny. We were actually talking about A.J. Green on Tom's show earlier this morning. We were talking about just how weird it is that A.J. Green, you think about how well he played in a Bengals uniform and now not seeing him in a Bengals uniform. I was watching him last week or the week before playing a game. He made a catch. When was the last time you even thought about A.J. Green?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So
I saw a highlight of him watching a touchdown pass. That was pretty interesting. He was on like the 2 and it pass was in the end zone. So he's in the game. He's just not participating fully.
Just not all that involved.
Him standing by where someone else did something better sounds like a Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah.
It does happen. A.J. Green's a good dude, though. He helped somebody change a tire on the side of the road and deep in the Georgia night. I've got a first-hand account of that. So he's a good guy. He's just not catching footballs.
Was it your tire?
Was it your tire?
No, it was not my tires. It was my nephew's girlfriend. She's from Georgia. She broke down somewhere in the middle of nowhere on 75, and this kind of high-end SUV pulled up, and it was him. And he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm AJ." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, you're AJ Green." So she, has the AJ Green jersey for that purpose. So he's a good human, just not a good football player right now.
Oh. Under 14.5 yards, Mr. AJ Green. Over
on his longest
reception.
Changed. So his longest reception can't be 14.5 yards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
He might not make a reception, so that's a pretty good deal. All right, let's go to the MLS, and I don't mess around with this a whole lot, but the Philadelphia Union is playing your FC Cincinnati club.
Okay.
Philadelphia, I like them 115 on the money line. Here's a good one, too. They're plus 235, Philadelphia, at minus 1.5. So what, they scored 4 goals in their last 2 games. FCC got beat 3-2 by Chicago, and then they gave up, they won.
Oh, God.
Oh!
In the last match of the season, right?
Nosferatu.
Yeah, so Washington's absolutely terrible. They give up the most goals in MLS. So I think the season ends for FC Cincinnati today. Okay? So take the Union. Take them big.
Get those legs churning. Get through the hole. Let's go.
Right?
Right.
Let's go. It's fun to see. All right, here comes. This might be the best one of the day.
We're excited. Come on, Mike.
Are you ready?
Sling it.
The Houston Astros, Alex Bregman, 380 to hit a double, and I'll explain that in a minute. He's plus 105 to hit a single. Okay?
Is it at least a double?
No, he's got to hit a double. Well, this is very interesting. So Severino has given up 8 hits to the Astros all season. Okay? 4 of them have been doubles. Bregman has 2 of them. He's 2 for 6 versus Severino with 2 doubles. So plus 105 for Bregman to hit a single. Plus 380. If you hit that, that's pretty amazing. To hit a double. But he's done it twice already this year. How about that?
Love it.
Mike, I got to ask you. Whatever happened to your DVR?
It's still a work in progress. It's still there. It's still functioning.
The connection's getting worse as we ask questions.
Getting worse. The connection's really bad.
No, it was great until about 20 seconds ago, and now
we're just out.
We're back to square one. It's all right.
It's
all right. No, it's all right. We're gonna get through. We're gonna get through it here. What else we got?
All right, sorry, guys. Technology. This is great. All right, I'm going back to my Ohio Bobcats here in the MAC.
Okay.
Plus 120, money line over Northern Illinois. They're pretty much the same team statistically. It's better value than plus 3 at 115, so let's just take Ohio to win that at 120.
Okay.
Minnesota, minus 110, plus 4 versus Penn State. I think Minnesota's going to rush the heck out of them. Penn State gave up, 500 yards last week, 400 yards against Michigan. They're only averaging 17 points against Big Ten opponent. So I think that Minnesota covers that with 4. We like that? We'll give you 2 more. You can't hear me, can you? Can you hear me?
We can.
We can.
It's like the old George Bush clip from 9/11. We can hear you.
So it's coming in and out.
You compared the show to 9/11.
It is a disaster. Remember
when he was standing at ground zero? And the guy, do you remember that clip, Mike? It's one of the all-time clips. George Bush is standing at ground zero, and he's speaking with the megaphone.
Let's get Mike through this.
Yeah, the megaphone goes out.
Yeah, and the guy says, and he's speaking to the crowd, and the guy and George says something, and the guy in the back says, "We can't hear you," and George Bush says, "Well, we can hear you." And then the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. It sounded better in my head.
We're working on that scenario right now. All right, well, listen, since I've taken this time to do this, I'll email this to you. This is bad. All right, we're doing, for the Bengals, Joe Burrow minus 115, 285.5 pass yards.
Yes.
Not the worst pass defense in the NFL. All right, here we go. This is the last one. William Byron, NASCAR in Homestead, Miami. He's minus 200 to hit a top 10. He's plus 150 to hit a top 5. First and ninth his last 2 Homestead starts. And in his last 5 ovals, he's averaging a 5th place finish. So there you go. That's it.
How you like that?
That's it.
What do you think about that?
Was there any games that you didn't pick this weekend?
No, I try to bring value. I try to bring something to the segment, okay? Other than the fact that poor audio and bad visual quality. Other than that.
No, the visual's great.
No,
the visual's
you're on
the best
the other
it's
end.
looked. The visual's fantastic. When you go back, as soon as you get off here and you listen to this segment, you're going to be in just as many tears as I am right now.
Great.
Because the microphone that you were using was fantastic for 3 minutes. And then something happened with the connection. We got to figure that out. We'll figure it out for next week. We'll run through a test first. Mike, thank you for your time. Thank you for the laughs. I needed that.
No, thank you for your time and your effort here. It's been painful.
We'll talk next Thursday.
All right, boys. Good luck.
See you, Mike. Wow, that was. We'll stay here. We'll stay here and do this. Thanks for bearing with us there, guys. Reed, Casey.
He
compared it to 9/11.
You did, didn't you? You
I
brought
didn't
it to
compare the
the
segment to 9/11. I compared when he keeps asking every time somebody says, "Can you hear me?"
No, but I can hear you.
No, but I can hear you, and the rest, the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon. That's the clip. As every single time somebody says, "Can you hear me?" I think of that clip. It's an all-time clip. I don't think I'm out of line there.
No.
He sounded like he was from Terminator or something like that. Just
well, it's got to be. It had to be someone with connection. I don't know. All right.
The lights went off at one point.
Well, yeah, the lights went. All right.
We do got to take a break.
Well, let's take a break. We're going to get Reed up here. We're going to finish out the show. Stay with us on Not Too Picky.
At United Dairy Farmers, we've perfected freshness in our family bakery, where we use only the finest ingredients, like thick, high-quality glazes on our signature donuts, before delivering them fresh from bakery to store every day. UDF, made for you.
If your AC or furnace is struggling, turn to the experts at Bartell's Heating and Cooling. Their certified technicians get the job done right the first time, and if you need a new unit, Bartell's will give you upfront pricing with no hidden fees. Plus, ask about Bartell's 0% interest financing for 60 months. Learn more at bartellsheatingandcooling.com. Bartell's Heating and Cooling, for a comfortable way of life. Eli's Sports Bar and Grill, proudly sponsoring high school football with 3 locations in Mason, Liberty Township, and Ross, Ohio. Our 10-foot screens guarantee a great view from every seat in the house. Eli's Sports Bar and Grill, the best place in Cincinnati for sports, food, and fun.
Where can you turn when you're in pain? Turn where more high school, college, and pro athletes turn. Where your neighbors and weekend warriors turn. Turn to Beacon Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and get superior care on your schedule. That's the Beacon difference.
Check out our fresh arrivals at Jake Sweeney Used Cars. Over 250 used vehicles weekly. All makes, all models. From economy to luxury, Jake Sweeney, the original used car superstore.
Back now on Not Too Picky, and I pray that the audio of Reed Mouse is pretty good right now. Can you talk to me real quick?
How's it going, Paul?
Uh-oh, I can't hear him in my
Yes!
There we go.
Now
I can hear him. All right, so Mike Schmaltz just gave us a just laundry list of picks that I love that segment every week. That's like my favorite 10 minutes of the week is getting Mike on here because you just don't know what you're going to get. And this week it was audio issues, but we powered through.
I seriously just adore the fact that every time he throws a pick, he's like, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Like it?
Like it?
Sounds good?
It does. They all sound good to me. They're all winners. All right. Reed, what do you have? Do we have anything? Wait, we actually do. We have a couple of things to talk about here that I wrote down.
Yeah.
And again, if you're watching, we need a chat pick. The chat's been pretty lively today. I just haven't seen a lot of. I haven't seen a lot of picks. Rick Broering actually suggested Ohio State 45-5
for the exact score.
If you're watching right now, send a pick in the chat. We gotta start a new chat streak. Chat streak died at 6 last week.
Who made that pick last week?
I think was it Reed?
I think it was Reed. He's a sharp bettor normally.
Was it Reed Rule?
Just missed on Bama.
Missed on Bama. But Ryan Quilty, actually, one of my friends that I was up at Notre Dame with, he suggested Kentucky, and that hit last week. I was back and forth on Kentucky. Didn't know Will Levis's status and didn't want to. I should have just stuck with it.
Guy can spin it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to pick a new postseason team, baseball. So we're 0 for 2. We picked
the Mariners.
We did pick the Mariners. We picked the Mets first, and then we picked the Mariners. We're 0 for 2. We went back and forth between the Mariners and the Phillies when we were picking the Mariners, and we picked the Mariners instead of the Phillies. Went with the National League to start, then we thought, let's go to the American League. So we flipped off the Phillies, and now the Phillies are the second favorite behind the Astros.
Yeah, so let me get the 4 teams that are right. And when we pick this team, we've got the team that had a notorious cheating scandal 5 years ago.
Yep.
We've got the Evil Empire facing them.
Check.
So the American League can't bet the American League.
Dusty Baker. We could bet Dusty Baker.
I do like Dusty. I do like Dusty. And then over on the other side, we've got the Phillies, who if we back them, then our boss Trace is just gonna be like, oh, here you go, riding the Phillies, riding what I said. Or we can go with the fathers down there in San Diego, the priest, the fathers, the San Diego Fathers.
I don't hate the Patriots. I don't hate the Padres as a pick because both National League teams right now are fun.
Yeah.
Both of the teams, regardless of which team comes out of the National League and goes to the World Series, San Diego is having a hell of a time down there. Petco Park has been awesome the first couple of nights there. Philadelphia, I can't even imagine what Philadelphia is going to be like this weekend. That's been a lot of fun to watch. Finally getting postseason baseball back in the city of brotherly love. That's been great. I don't think we can go wrong. I say we pick one of the 2 National League teams. I'm fine with either one.
What about, there's been a lot of talk about Bryce Harper and how, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at age 16.
Yeah.
Lived up to the hype. He was the first overall pick. 2 picks after that in the MLB draft was Manny Machado. And he came up when he was 20 years old on those really good Orioles teams. And he's lived up to the hype. They both have, $300 million contracts, $400 million contracts, and they've lived up. I mean, they're future Hall of Famers, both of them. And that's what you got on each side. But like you said, if I had to pick a team, I'm going to go. I like the Padres. I'm a big Juan Soto supporter.
Yeah.
If you ask me any young guy in the league that I could have right now, I'm taking Juan Soto. The defensive miscues yesterday were tough to watch.
It's a sun monster, man.
Right. But yeah, I'll take the Padres.
Yeah, I'll go.
And hopefully we get them all wrong.
Yeah, I'll go with you on the Padres. I like the Padres. I like I said, I like either team out of the National League. If we're going to pick the Padres, that's fine with me. Series is tied 1-1 right now, going back to Philadelphia on Friday night. Surely that means. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think we've got a baseball bet right on this show.
Yeah,
there's been too many.
I have not given a straight baseball pick. You've given a few. None of them.
Like a
two,
parlay,
maybe.
Yeah, two
like a strikeout parlay and maybe one other thing.
Yeah.
Both of those have not hit, and both of our World Series picks have been eliminated. Funny because both you and I would like to think of ourselves as baseball guys.
Yeah, it's the sport I know the most about.
Yeah. So and in your defense.
It's also the hardest sport to bet on.
We were trying to pick a team kind of in the middle with a pick instead of just being lazy and picking like the Astros to start the. We could have just picked the Astros to start the postseason, but we tried to get in the middle. All right. Sorry, San Diego, or maybe good luck, San Diego. Padres, it is. The other thing we got to talk about, this whole DraftKings debacle. They put up a promo for Justin Herbert to throw a touchdown pass on Monday Night Football. He was, I think, like minus 1,000 to throw a TD pass. He had thrown a TD pass in 36 of 37 games. I was flying during the Monday Night Football game, did not get to watch it. Took off right as the game was starting. I was just about to my hotel room in New York City when the game was mercifully ending in overtime. Did not watch a play. Get off the plane and see that Los Angeles had 13 points and thought, okay, well, they probably scored a touchdown in there. It was not a passing touchdown. They did not score a passing touchdown. The Broncos did cover, even though the Broncos did not win. They did cover. Am I forgetting? The Broncos did.
No, they did cover. Yeah. I bet the Broncos.
No, I knew they covered, right? It was, Broncos covered. But Justin Herbert did not throw a touchdown pass. I can't remember the last time I've seen the outrage at DraftKings. There was outrage that they were just stealing money, taking money. It was a setup. They were in on it. What?
Right.
What?
Listen, we've actually had a small sidebar on this show about how, when sports gambling comes to Ohio, they throw these promos out often and a lot of the time. They won't be here forever. These, making it even money on a Justin Herbert, which has happened in 37 of 38 games now.
Yeah.
To throw a touchdown. When they throw out these promos, take them. They want to get your business. They're giving you, essentially, more often than not, free money.
Yeah.
Take it. And when every once in a while, they don't all hit.
No, they don't all hit, and usually
you can't act like they had some hand in this.
Yeah, and DraftKings is good enough. I mean, just to give a little background on DraftKings, and we're not sponsored by anybody. I'm just talking about if you're looking at books coming to Ohio here on January 1st. You think back to what happened a couple years ago when the Browns were playing the Ravens, and there was a safety at the end of the game that flipped that from a winner to a loser. DraftKings immediately came out and I think gave a free bet to everybody that was on the wrong side of that. I remember I was on the wrong side of that game, got a free bet out of it. Generally, when there's crazy things like that, they'll take not every time, but they'll take care of you. You don't want to be just given a handout every time, and Barstool does not do that to a certain extent. I know I don't know. Every book is different. I won't get into it. FanDuel has done some. Barstool has their own promos that they run. Every book is different. But the DraftKings, typically what they've done is if something like the Justin Herbert one doesn't hit, they'll get you back pretty quickly. And that's what they did last night with the Kevin Durant to score 20-plus points. He scored 20 before halftime. So for everybody that was outraged, oh, man, I was on the wrong side of the Herbert bet, it came back, and they were fine. Durant scored 21.
I try to middle that.
Yeah, there was a way you could have middled it if he scored less than 29 points.
Yeah, there's about a 9-point window for a middle.
If he scored over 20 and less than 29, you could have doubled up on both. You could have middled it, which basically means that you're trying to shoot the middle there and win both bets at the same time. They're both plus money. I just took the over 20, and that was not even a sweat. It was a little bit of a sweat when he had 8 points with like 6 minutes left in the second quarter, and then he scored 13 points in like 6 minutes, and we were fine. Okay. This show has been going on for about an hour, so let's get down to it here and wrap things up and send people on to the weekend. And Reed, you're going to take us through your slate of games.
Listen, every week, every time we've done this show, been pretty good.
Yep.
I've given a lot of winners, a lot more winners than I've given losers. I've got this algorithm. I've got this what
proprietary system.
Yeah, I've got this system. I got an abacus that just works, and a monkey working on an abacus that eventually gives out this algorithm, and that's how I pick my games. And to be honest, the abacus, the system, I was looking at it, things could change very, very quickly here tomorrow, here Saturday morning when college football starts, which is where I've been really hitting home runs recently. And I didn't like a whole lot. I don't like the slate this week, but you know what? You only get so many weeks to gamble in a fall.
Especially on football.
Yeah, you only get so many weeks to gamble on football, so you got to take your shots. You're in the ring. You got to keep punching. So you know what? We'll start with tonight's college football game.
Okay.
I like Virginia to cover 3.
Okay.
I like a little Thursday night action. I just like it. I mean, if you want to turn off from the Thursday night football game, get in on the action on the college football game. Give me Virginia. Moving into Saturday, Clemson, I believe, takes on the Orange, who we bet the Orange last week to beat NC State. I think that this is an opportunity where Clemson's been the top dog in the ACC. There's about a 13.5-point spread, a 2-touchdown spread. A lot of people are high on Syracuse because they did just beat a ranked team. They're undefeated. They're playing really good football. That being said, what did we say last week? To be the man, you got to beat the man. And until Syracuse shows that they can do that, I don't think they cover 2 touchdowns. So I like Clemson to beat Syracuse there. Locally, gave you a little teaser on this one earlier in the show. SMU playing against the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. I like SMU in this.
Yeah, I do too.
I like the Pony Express.
I do too.
I think we've got the hook. I think it's 3.5 is what I looked at right before I came on.
Yeah.
So we're on the hook. I like this being really close. UC hasn't shown to be dominant at really any point this season.
Yeah, I'm contradicting myself. I said earlier in the show I liked UC 3.5, but I've seen some things come across here in a couple of the breaks that I was checking up on UC, and I'm gonna agree with you. I'm probably gonna stay off that game, but I would lean toward SMU 3.5 in that one.
Yeah, I like SMU. I think that's gonna.
I think the chat likes SMU too.
I think that's gonna be a close one. Yeah, we got sharp bettors in the chat.
We do.
We got some sharp bettors. My final college football pick, and I'm not gonna commit to any of these till Saturday. I've got to really think. This is just where my brain is going towards Saturday. We'll put out a graphic on the official picks before they come out. One other game that I'm keeping a very close eye on in terms of looking at reactions, overreactions, just the team itself. Oregon is hosting UCLA. That's a touchdown game. UCLA undefeated. Oregon, their one loss, right? Their one loss team. Their one loss is to maybe the best team in college football in Georgia.
And Oregon's been playing very well since then. If you're not watching the Pac-12, which I guess I don't blame you.
Normally you're doing something at 11
Normally you're
p.m.
doing something else on a Saturday night.
Right.
If you haven't been watching the Pac-12, Oregon has been playing very well since that Georgia game.
I like Oregon to cover here.
Yep.
That's simple as that. They're at home. They're playing UCLA. I think a touchdown's more than fair. Give me the Ducks. Quack. Give me a quack, Casey.
I love that Oregon. Give me the quack, Casey.
You want a quack?
I want a quack.
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 Ooh, that's a good quack. That's a good quack. Nice and silent. And then going to Sunday, I've got 2 more bets for you. Well, I'm just going to keep peppering. I'm peppering them at you.
Yeah.
Got them firing at you left and right. These are some reaction games. San Francisco just lost.
Niners?
Yep, the Niners. They are one of the best rosters in football. I know they don't have an elite level quarterback, but they've got a more than fair roster. 2.5 points versus Kansas City. I think a lot of people are going to be jumping on Kansas City, and I think Vegas knows that. I think I like the 49ers roster in that one. So give me the 49ers covering 2.5. And then finally, for some reason, I keep betting the Denver Broncos, even though they are just abysmal to watch. But you know what? Broncos country. Let's ride. 1.5 versus the Jets.
Are you going to make me watch the Broncos?
Give me the Coes.
Plus 1.5? Minus 1.5.
Minus 1.5. Got to cover.
All right.
Peppered them at you. That was like 7 picks.
Yeah, you did. If you've been listening to this whole show, you've probably noticed I've been facilitating a lot of picks on this show. But
what do you like?
I have not personally given a lot of picks for this weekend. I like the SMU pick. I love Miami-Oxford minus 6.5 against Western Michigan. Mike gave one OU against NIU. I think NIU was around a 3-point favorite when I checked it last. Ohio's plus 120 on the money line that Mike gave us. I'll be honest. I think I'm going to lean NIU in that game. I'm still undecided if I'm going to make that a pick on the graphic or not on Saturday. But I'd take a look at NIU in that game. And then the Bengals, I don't know if the Bengals cover this weekend.
At this point, you're at a casino and you see the roulette tower. And the roulette tower is the Atlanta Falcons, and it's gone black six straight times.
Yep.
And you're walking up there and like, they can't cover again, can they?
Yep.
They can't do it again. And the hometown team's taking it. I mean, it just seems like a way to get your heart a little more invested, a little more blood pumping.
Andy Dalton tonight is, I'm assuming Andy's starting. I haven't seen anything.
Yes.
Andy is starting.
Well, I haven't seen anything to contradict that.
Okay. Andy Dalton 0 for 11 in road primetime games. Kyler Murray, new Call of Duty game drops. Bend but don't break. Something's got to give. What gives? I think the Cardinals are frauds. I don't know what we're going to see out of the Saints who don't have anybody available to play. When I made this graphic, Arizona was minus 2.5. Total was 44. I think that's still where it is.
On certain books you can get.
I don't know, man.
On certain books you can get 3. Yeah, I mean, I don't
know.
I don't care either way.
Don't even pick a winner. We're not even picking a winner here. We're not even doing that.
Okay.
Did you think I was serious?
I know. I mean, you only get so many Thursday night football.
Of course, we're picking one in this game.
Keep gambling, baby.
All right, give me the Cardinals.
You're taking the Cardinals? You're taking the Cardinals?
I flipped the coin in my head.
Listen.
I flipped the coin in my head.
Is it because Andy Dalton's 0-11 against
No, because I think these
primetime games on the road?
No.
Let me tell you these stories.
Cardinals are such frauds. You know what this pick is? You know what this pick is? You know what it is entirely? It is fading everything I am saying that you should do in this game. Because everything in my brain is pointing to the Saints. Every single thing.
Going against your brain.
Every betting trend, everything that I'm thinking about with this game says Saints. I'm just gonna fade it in this one. I'm taking the Cardinals.
Sometimes you just throw some darts.
I'm not putting money on this one tonight.
Don't be too picky.
Yeah, not too picky. I don't know if I'm going to bet this game either.
No.
I will tell you a little story. The last time that I sat down and I watched Andy Dalton, to my memory, play a road primetime game, I believe the year was about 2018, the Bengals had jumped out to a 4-1 record. And I went out.
Launched.
And got myself a brand new Andy Dalton jersey, a brand new Bengals hat, and I sat down with my now wife to sit down and watch the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Bengals. It got flexed to Sunday Night Football. So eager. And I sat like a sad puppy watching the TV as they just got dismantled.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely dismantled. And because of that bond that I've shared with Andy Dalton on road playoff games over the years, I'm going to keep riding with the beige water pistol. And that is Andy Dalton. I think you can get this up to 3 on certain sports books. If you can get 3, sprinkle a little money on it.
Yeah.
Sprinkle a little bit.
If you've been listening to this whole show, or if you're just tuning in, you can go back and listen. We had, I think, 6 or 7 picks about this game on this show between our guests, Russ and Mike. So if you want picks, there were props. Kyler Murray's under 245.5 passing yards. Juwan Johnson, anytime touchdown scorer. DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, Alvin Kamara. We have picks all over this game, player props, that you can go back and check out earlier on in this show. Oh, man. What I will say something nice about this one. I'm not going to say that this is a bad game like it has been the last couple of Thursdays.
Like either one of these teams could make the postseason and you would like not bat an eye about it.
Yeah, I don't think this game is not setting up like a Thursday night game where I have sat up here like the one
like last Thursday,
like the Instagram reel that went viral 2 weeks ago, which by the way, I don't know if you saw that. We got a few thousand views on that one on Instagram. It's sitting up here for the Colts-Broncos game, knowing that game was going to be toothpicks in our eyes, trying to keep our lids open to make sure that we could watch the whole thing. I don't think this will be that. I'm not going to say it's going to be beautiful football, but I think you won't have to be paid to suffer through this game. I don't know. Cardinals at home, I guess.
Let's make a bet. Let's not give money to a sports book. If you got the Cardinals, I've got the Saints. Let's put it between you and I.
Okay.
Don't pay juice. Don't pay juice.
Okay, I love it. What do you want to do? Pie?
I was thinking actual cash money, hard-earned cash.
Oh, okay.
What are you feeling?
I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't. Oh, God. I'll pay for your Taco Bell tomorrow.
Deal.
Easy.
Done. Hey. Pie to the face it is.
All right.
Key lime pie.
Casey, you've been pretty quiet over there.
Yeah.
You got anything?
No, I don't got nothing. You guys just hammered out all those picks, and
Casey, you pick a baseball team for the rest of the playoffs.
I was gonna say Padres, honestly.
Okay.
Oh wait,
I love the Padres. Oh, we got to get
hold on,
group pick.
Hold on, we got a group pick. We got a group pick coming in. Okay, so here are our options: SMU plus 3.5, Ole Miss money line, Penn State -4, or Nick Kirby. I love this pick. Framber Valdez over 5.5 strikeouts.
See, the thing about Valdez is he's feast or famine. He's either like 7 innings, 10 Ks, or he's 1 inning like. But I guess that's what you're gambling on.
Yeah.
If he gets to 6 innings, he's gonna get 5 strikeouts.
I mean, I'm seeing SMU, Ole Miss, Penn State.
I'll bet on some baseball.
Or Valdez. We got to pick a baseball winner. And Nick Kirby.
I'll bet on some baseball.
Nick knows what he's talking about on baseball. We're doing it. Chat pick. Framber Valdez.
Thanks, Curbs.
Over 5.5 strikeouts. I love it. All right. Casey, Reed, Russ, Mike, everybody, thanks. I'm Paul signing off. We'll see you Monday. Monday, I think we're going to start talking. I haven't confirmed it yet. Going to get one of my guys on to talk a little NBA, how to bet the NBA, get all that going. NBA season starting up. Let's have a good weekend. Not the best gambling slate, but let's make the most of it. Let's find some winners. Have a great weekend, everybody.